Hey guys, welcome back to the Training Room Podcast, the podcast all about training up athletes, parents, and coaches on how to navigate youth sports the right way. Today we're talking about all things recruiting, college recruiting. And as we do that, we're going to talk about when to start planning, when to start communicating, the current rules, the state of college athletics, if you will. So without further ado, let's get into it. So the first thing that we're going to talk through here is just like, what is the roadmap for pursuing college athletics? When should athletes and families begin thinking about navigating college? And here in our club, we talk about those things really about 8th grade, because even in 8th grade, what you do and how you prepare going into high school will affect you as you go into college athletics. So, for instance, how to build an academic calendar. You know, there's some kids that they want to go be a rocket scientist when they're older. So to do that, they need to get into probably a top tier university. And to do that, you have to take maybe some honors classes, some AP classes, and how you build your academic schedule through high school will play a role as you go into college. And also there's other kids that, hey, I just want to play college baseball at a super high level. And so to do that, you want to have a good grades. You want to have a very high GPA. So maybe you don't want to take honors classes and go and get, C's and D's in those, because that will affect your GPA. And at the end of the day, some of those schools, the higher your GPA is, the GPA thresholds, if you will produce more financial benefit. So how you think about those things, and again, it's okay to not have it figured out in 8th grade, but there are some things that can help you down the road when it comes to picking your college and comes to just the financial packages that you can get into college. So we start talking about those things in 8th grade, and with that too, like just how our athletes go about their training, their development is all on a road that's just going to help map and guide them as they go pursue their goals of college baseball or professional baseball. So we try to help them navigate that stuff in 8th grade here. So with that too, like every kid's timeline is completely different, right? Like especially when you're thinking about 8th graders. Puberty's different. There's some kids that are tiny. There's some kids that are grown men. So just navigating their timeline, trusting the process of that timeline, those are all things that we talk about. Even mentally, maturity, that all peaks at different times. So don't rush the process when it comes to college recruiting. Consider like each path that you're on a stepping stone to the next level. A couple quick stories on that. A friend of mine in high school, when he was a sophomore in high school, he decided to, hang up the cleats and not play baseball anymore, because at the time he was a little guy. I mean, he was maybe 5'2", and he knew that for him to play varsity on a high school team that was very elite at the time, just wasn't going to probably happen for him. And he loved baseball, he loved the game, and so he decided to step away from it in high school. And then fast forward into college, I'm playing college baseball at the time. I would come home on my summers, and we were still great friends. And he would go with me that summer and out to a local park, and we would play catch every day. And he would throw me BP just to keep me in shape for the season to come in the fall. And one day, I think like mid-July, I'm like, man, like you're throwing really hard, dude. Like you at the time too. I mean, he's in college at this point, right? He's at Southeastern Missouri State University. And he is, I think, a finance major at the time, so didn't play any sports. But at that time in his life, I mean, at this point, he's like 6'2", 215 pounds. I mean, rock solid kid. He just didn't physically mature until, later through his high school career, and maybe not even until really he was a senior. And so anyway, we're playing catch that summer. He doesn't play baseball anymore. He hasn't played in 3 years. I'm like, man, you throw really hard. I think we need to get you on a radar gun to see what it looks like, And so sure enough, like we got him on a radar gun. We found a local facility, and he was throwing like 90, 92 miles an hour. And I'm like, man, like you still love baseball? He's like, yeah. I was like, you should go try to walk on to SEMO. I think you could do it. And so he went there that fall, tried to get in the coach's office, said, hey, coach, like, is there any way like you have any roster openings? Like, can you come watch me pitch? Like, I think I have something that you like. And so coach said, yeah, come on out to practice and let's see what you got. So he goes out there, and he doesn't have baseball pants that fit anymore at this time, right? He's 6'2". The last time he played baseball was sophomore year of high school. So he's wearing baseball pants that don't fit. he's wearing like a high school PE shirt and a fishing hat, and he toes the rubber and he throws 92 miles an hour. And the coach is just like, what in the world? Like, who is this kid? And he gave him a spot. He ended up being a closer for those guys. He got a conference ring. They ended up winning the Ohio Valley Conference that year. He got a conference ring, and just such a cool story on, you just never know the timeline of a kid. There's kids that went to the same high school as me and never touched the diamond. And one of those kids ended up playing pro baseball. He ended up walking into a junior college program, grew and developed, and he got paid to play baseball. And that's just so cool to know that, don't rush the process of where you're at, or where your son's at or your daughter's at, because the peaks come at different times. So, another story on that is we just had a kid commit out of our program. He's a senior in high school. His name's Logan Gagas. He goes to Edwardsville High School. And he committed to a Division I university very, very late because he had to battle through injury in high school. And he trusted the process of what his doctors and physical therapists and pitching trainers and all of his coaches helped him through. And he got healthy. And he's having a great spring for Edwardsville High School and ended up signing to St. Louis University here recently. And so you just never know the timeline of kids. So for us, we try to provide avenues for our athletes to keep them loving the game and progressing them to their next level. Whether that's the jump from travel ball to their high school program or from their high school program onto their college program, we want to assist them with not just their player development, but their growth that is going to assist them beyond the game. And so don't rush the process when it comes to college recruiting. That timeline, everybody wants to speed it up. They want the now. They want to commit when they're in fifth grade. And that's just not how it works. And so we're blessed to be around people that help navigate that process as you go about it. So as we go down the list here, like, how do I know a school is a good fit? So first with that, just ask yourself some questions like, what are your goals and what are the needs for you and your family when it comes to college athletics? Is pro ball a question for you? Is it job placement? Is it to get away from your family, right? Is it to go away to school? So just start listing out those things. Is it finances that are needed in that situation? Is it the experience you're running after? So as you're going through just what are my next level thoughts, list out the things that would be a good fit. And as you list those out, list out your wants and desires when it comes to the experience you want, and then start researching schools that match that fit. So that way you can narrow down what you truly want to do, the programs that you truly want to run at, and then start communicating with those schools. And we'll get to that communication and thoughts here in a little bit. But just another story on that, like finding your fit is huge. We had an athlete in here a few years back, and actually he's graduated college now, but he was an all-state third baseman at a local high school here. He had Division I schools following him and all over him. And he said, hey, you know what? I actually want to go to a Division III school because that school is a very, very good high academic engineering program. I'm going to get opportunities to play as a freshman. It's going to be pretty close to home. And so he had this list of things that he wanted out of college athletics. And so did we as a program get to fly the extreme elite D1 commit flag that day? Absolutely not. But that kid, we have a great relationship. He found his fit. We knew that he was going down the road that he wanted to pursue. And sure enough, he went to that school. He played all 4 years. He graduated on a great calendar. He's going to be an engineer, and I couldn't be happier for him. So helping our athletes find their fit is how we help navigate the recruiting process. Not just, hey, I want to push that kid out to the best baseball program we can so he can ride the bench and get a cool T-shirt and stuff like that. Like, no, there's a way bigger purpose to how we push kids to the next level, and just want to make sure that they're finding their true fit that's going to launch them into the rest of their life. So, currently, what is the recruiting landscape? I mean, currently there's a lot of athletes bouncing around within college athletics. Tons of older guys. This all happened due to COVID. You know, they lost a season there, a season and a half, 2 seasons in some cases. So there's tons of people in the transfer portal. There's now a name, image, and likeness deals. So athletes are getting paid for their name, image, and likeness. So with all that stuff, like, how do we navigate it all? We have a lot of resources here to sit down with families and guide them through what it truly looks like. But the fully funded D1 programs, they only have 11.7 scholarships to give out amongst their entire roster. So there's no such thing as a full ride baseball player, right? Like there's kids that are on full scholarships, but they're using money not just from their baseball program, but from their school that are getting paid through their academics, high GPAs, and different scholarships that way. Also, there's grants and things so there are tons of kids that play at the Division I level that don't pay any money, but there's only 11.7 scholarships to go around. So they're dividing that up amongst their team. But at the Division I level, it's just important to know that like grades are what's going to pay the bills for you, not athletics. And so we really push on our kids to make sure that they're staying on top of their GPA. We do homework checks with them as far as checking their GPA and keeping them in line that way. But at the Division II level, there's only 9 scholarships that those programs have, and that's only, again, fully funded programs. There's several Division II programs that aren't fully funded, so they don't even have 9. So just understanding like the finances that come out of college baseball, college softball, for you to invest in your kid to say, oh, like he's going to get his college paid for. I would be investing that in the classroom. I would be investing that in a lot of other things other than baseball and softball. But just know that the experience that they're going to have playing athletics through college is really going to help them as they navigate their college experience. And we'll get to that here in a little bit with a guest that we're going to have on. So as of a few weeks ago, Division I coaches can't contact players until August 1st of their junior year. So you've probably been seeing a lot of 8th graders, freshmen, sophomores verbally committing to schools way before that. Well, as of a couple weeks ago, there's a new rule that does not allow those early commits anymore. So that said, they're using the early years to throw players on whiteboards, to follow them, to go out to tournaments and scout them. So it's not that college coaches are no longer going to be watching freshmen, sophomore, even 8th graders. It's just that they're not going to be able to communicate with them until August 1st of their junior year. So it does, help athletes, buys them time to truly decide what their fit needs to be as they go into next level. A lot of 8th graders and freshmen don't have a clue on what they truly want to do yet. And it also ensures that, the communication that they're having with college coaches is going to be real, because there's several 8th graders and freshmen that commit or verbally commit early and end up losing their scholarship because whatever reason they don't pan out. There's injuries involved, and maybe even coaching staffs change over by the time that they go on to college. So it just pushes back that timeline, and I think honestly it provides a lot of ease on families to buy them some time to truly understand what their fit needs to be. So, coaches can talk to athletes at their camp, but they're not allowed to talk about recruiting at that camp, even prior to that August 1st junior year date. At the Division II, Division III, junior college, NAIA levels, there are a lot looser rules in terms of communication, and each one has their own twist to it. Feel free to look those up and get an understanding of what those other levels do. But when does the verbal commitment become written and legal? So now that date's pushed back till junior year, there's going to be signing periods in November. There's one in April that they'll sign a national letter of intent. So nothing is legal or binding when you commit to a school until you sign paperwork claiming your letter of intent to that school and to accept that scholarship. So otherwise, it's just verbally agreeing that the coach has given you an offer and you verbally agreed to attend that school. But until anything is written down on paper, nothing is set in stone. So with that too, every kid's timeline is different. I mentioned Logan Gagas earlier. He didn't sign to his school until here recently, so he's just a few months away from heading off to college. But we've also had kids prior to that new rule that have committed when they're freshmen or sophomores. And so with that, like, just understand that there's still a path for you. It's not too late. But it is timely to make sure that you're getting your ducks in a row on what that fit is, what those schools you want to go pursue are, following those schools and those coaching staffs to see how they interact as they go through their college experience. So with that, keep developing, keep communicating, keep researching your best fit as you're trying to navigate college recruiting. So we're going to dive in here with a special guest here in a minute and just talk about why pursue college athletics. All right, guys. Hey, I'm sitting here with Jess Schmittling. Jess is our director of softball here at Extreme BSC. We're talking all things recruiting, Jess. So I'm going to drill you on some recruiting questions on how just softball navigates it here with our club. But I guess first question is, like, what are the benefits of an athlete playing a college sport as they go through their college process? Like, how does sports help them navigate being a student going through college?
Yeah, I think whenever you first go into college, it can be a scary world, but also when you think about having a sport, you kind of walk in with a built-in family already. You kind of know going in that you have, 20-something people around you that are going to support you throughout your journey there. But in addition to that, you also have resources already readily available for you, whether that's tutors or sitting down with counselors to help you build out your schedule. Kind of have those people that are your go-to of how to navigate when it comes to the day-to-day of college.
Yeah, I think college is pretty scary for just any student to go into. So going in there with a family already from the beginning while you play a sport is huge. And then also just like you were saying, like the help you have as you go through the year, like there's just so many unknowns for a high school graduate going into college. It's just such a different world. So going through that with your teammates, your coaches, the tutors, like she says, is huge. So I think just the structure that sports provides for a student can really be beneficial as they navigate college. So second question for you, what's like the biggest benefits of extreme elite softball in pushing athletes into the next level?
Yeah, well, on the softball side, we're really fortunate. We have Liz Jagelski, which is our recruiting director. She's fantastic. She will sit down with every family one-on-one and kind of help them throughout their journey of helping them find the right fit. So I think that's the biggest thing, is having somebody kind of, that's with you, hand-holding throughout that journey. And then also, we're a nationally recognized program. So we're out in the right tournaments, at the right fields, playing in front of the right coaches that make the right fit for those athletes.
Yeah, that's awesome. So it's kind of similar to playing a sport in college, like playing in Extreme BSC will help you navigate going through just all the unknowns that come with recruiting and how to talk to coaches, all those things. Like I think you guys do a great job, and they're shelling out a lot of girls that are going on to the next level and pursuing their dreams. So that's awesome. Yeah. Last question for you, just as you navigate the recruiting process, like what do you find are the biggest hurdles with athletes and families, just navigating that with them?
I think the biggest thing is that we have, with anybody, there's players that are kind of panicky, right? They get to this point of I just want it to happen. So they feel like they got to be rushed in this process and looking around at everybody else who's getting recruited versus sticking on them. We have athletes that have gone to the highest level. We've had athletes that go JUCO, and all of that can be the right fit. So understanding that that's not all going to happen on the same timeline with every single kid, but we are going to help you find the right fit. If you want to play in college, we're going to help you get there.
Yeah, that's awesome. Hey, one more question for the road. So you're at a tournament. Let's say you're in Colorado. Okay, you're at the big tournament there. You have an early game. Okay, what's the first bite of food you're putting in your body before you go to the ballpark all day?
I'm a big string cheese person. I love string cheese. Well, I love anything cheese, but string cheese is a great morning thing for me.
So you're gonna stock your hotel fridge with string cheese, or are you gonna
a little cooler for the road?
There you go. Okay, so now we got to do random coach call. Okay. I want you to call a random softball coach right now, and you're gonna ask them what's their go-to hotel breakfast choice on the road.
Okay.
So who we calling today?
I'm going to call Coach Krista. She's our 18U national coach, so she's also somebody who spends a lot of time on the road. So
there you go. So put her on speaker. Hold her up close to your mic.
Okay.
See what Krista's doing this morning. You want me to introduce the show?
Yeah.
Hello?
Hey, Krista, this is Cody Massey with the Training Room Podcast. Good morning.
Hi.
Hey, I'm sitting here with Coach Jess. Jess has a question to ask you for our listeners.
Sure.
Jess, go ahead, take it away.
All right, we're calling to ask, what is your go-to breakfast, hotel breakfast, while you're out on the road coaching for your weekends?
Good one. I like the places that have eggs. So I always feel like that's better. So like scrambled eggs and some sort of protein.
Are you a
meat,
ketchup on your
sausage.
eggs person?
Absolutely not. That's disgusting. I don't like weird textures.
See, I feel like hotel eggs are fake though. Like there's a lot of those times that's just fake
you
eggs.
can cover it with some like salt, so it will do the trick. But no ketchup. That's gross.
Awesome. What's on Krista's plate on this Tuesday morning?
I actually am turning into Springfield right now for a Mom's Demand Action rally. So
there you go.
Just pulled into Springfield.
All right. Well, we caught you at a good time then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Awesome.
Thanks, Krista.
Right.
Thanks.
Bye.
See ya. Cool. Well, hey, thanks for coming on, Jess. We're definitely going to have you back on with other episodes here. Jess does absolutely everything for us. So, yeah, she's the softball director here for Extreme BSC, but she does a ton of stuff on the graphical side, and she is the most organized person that arguably I've ever met in my life. So, anybody that's on the baseball side, you definitely utilize a lot of stuff that Jess does for us. So, Jess, thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
All right, so hey, thanks to Jess Schmittling again for coming on to today's podcast and just talking through some softball things. We're gonna keep diving in here on just college recruiting, and the question here is like how to get seen and how to communicate. So one, like how to be seen, have skills that translate. You know, last I checked, you have to have skills that are going to be better or on the same par as the athletes that are at that school. So do your skills match up with the schools of the next level? Production at your current level does not always align with production at the next level. No college coach really cares if you're hitting 450 on your high school freshman team because high school freshman competition is nowhere near college baseball competition. So just trying to produce at the highest level you're able to be seated in at your age is probably step one. Like, can your skills translate? So produce at the highest level that is available to you. With that too, like be a varsity impact player. Like understand your stepping stones first. Don't put the cart before the horse. 8th graders, your next level is, hey, let's go try to crack into our high school program. Let's go make it into our high school program. Freshman team, let's try to make the JV team. JV team, let's be varsity on the varsity team. Varsity team, let's go be a varsity starter and an impact player, right? So like understanding the stepping stones before you prior to putting that cart before the horse, like I said. So with that too, like try to play for a team that gets you into top events and that for a team that coaches are going to show up to watch. So high school varsity baseball, college baseball coaches are coming to watch those games. High-level travel baseball and softball, the national teams, the Midwest teams, the elite teams. Try to crack rosters with them because they're going to be in events where college coaches are in the stands at just about every single game. Market yourself, build yourself very clean, respectable, high reputation social media profiles from your personal as an athlete or your parents, same thing, like just keeping your social media very clean because when an athlete or when a college coach likes an athlete, first thing they're going to do is check social media and find out what kind of people that athlete is and what kind of people the parents are. So just make sure that your social media reflects stuff that's going to build your reputation and point coaches towards them wanting you. So also with that, like market yourself through profiles. There's several ways to have profiles. Here at our club, we provide profiles for our athletes through Virtual Combine. A lot of our athletes have perfect game PBR profiles as well from different showcases or even tournament events that we have. So make sure you have profiles that have metrics readily at hand. So when a coach comes out and watches you, hey, I like that kid. Let me see if I can find some info on him. Oh, here's his profile. He throws 90 miles an hour. He runs under a 760. Like he has the metrics that back up with what I thought. So it just helps coaches get an understanding of what's truly underlying this athlete. With that too, like market yourself by also growing your corner of people and coaches. A lot of coaches talk to each other all the time. Your high school coaches, your travel coaches, college coaches that you've been talking with, they're all talking. So the more people you can get that have your back and that they're in your corner for you, the more opportunities you're probably going to have to network into more coaches, into more schools, and again have that marketable reputation for yourself. So once you have that all built in, like, hey, we're going to start sending emails. You're already a varsity impact player. You've already have the reputation and the backing behind you to go pursue college athletics. Now let's start communicating. We provide all of our athletes with templates to send emails, with templates on what camps to go to, how to talk on the phone with coaches, how to send text messages with coaches. So again, like the bigger your corner can be, they can help guide you through the communication process. So fortunately, like I said, for all of our athletes here, I know the softball side does a great job of this. The baseball side as well. We have all kinds of resources for athletes on teaching them to communicate at a very high level. Another idea is to go to camps, and don't just blindly go to camps. As we play in these tournaments and these big events, we're going to get flooded with emails on come to this camp, or you're going to think that a coach is specifically asking you to go to their camp. Do your homework on what camps you want to go to first. Is that a school you even are interested in? If it is, okay, check that box. Now, does that school need me as a prospective student athlete? For instance, like, are they truly looking for a 2024 shortstop if I'm a 2024 shortstop? Because if they're already full in that class, I don't want to waste my time going to that camp if I know that they're not going to give me an opportunity to play there. So do your homework on camps prior to going. Don't just sign up for camps. And you can always reach out to your coaching staff here at Extreme, or even flood the director's email as well, just asking, hey, is this something that's worth my while to go to? And they'll guide you through that. So with that, finally, like, keep your coaches and your director in the loop. So on the softball side, on the baseball side, keep your coaches and director in the loop, because we track absolutely everything. Every single just communication piece that comes on your end to a college coach, make sure you BCC us on the email so we can see that and know that you're communicating with that school. And because we run into these coaches all the time, whether I'm out watching a high school baseball game and there's a college coach there watching a different kid, hey, I can bring up that email that you sent and ask them if they saw it or what they think about you. So keep us in the loop, because again, we're here to help facilitate all of that communication and navigate the college recruiting process. So there's a lot that comes with navigating college recruiting, and luckily here at our club, there's a big family that is here to assist you, from alums that have been through it, players that are currently in it. There are tons of resources available to help you achieve your goals. All right, guys. Hey, that wraps up today's episode. We hope you had a great time tuning in and listening to this. If you have any questions on recruiting navigation, please shoot me an email at cody@extremepride.org. We're excited about to use this podcast as a way to train up our athletes, coaches, and families in areas that will help provide a better youth sport experience. So tune in next time, and in the meantime, win it right.